first, we have one last question from our viewer, Hugh1. Are there any problems or restrictions in esports that limits the participation of female gamers?
Touchy.
Okay, the thing is, okay, so I'll tackle this, okay?
Here we go again.
No, the thing is, okay, so for one, we need to remove this whole paradigm of maybe the argument goes back to like feminism and equality, yada 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 that goes on there. And I don't know if there's any sort of biological difference between, I don't know, reaction timing or whatever else that's going on. But what can be quite agreed upon is that generally females are less competitive than males. Just on a very general note, right? And so when you're looking at, high-level sporting events and things like that, where it's no longer just a hobby or a game, you have to look at, yes, there's going to be a slight difference of how well people really want to pursue this. In this case, how well females really want to pursue this, because there's a lot of time that goes into practicing, and that comes up from, wanting to be the best, not settling for, good enough. And so I don't think so innately the system is built or rigged against any female players that are out there, because you do see good female players out there, but they are simply just less of them, because less of them really want to push it all the way to the end. I mean, this is a standard, the standard deviation chart, right? If you have less people, your ends tend to be narrower. And so I don't think so anything is built against them that's there. Maybe barring the 10-year-old trolls that say, oh, you're a girl and you can't play, and oh, you only have tits on your stream or whatever of that shit. Like I ignore all of that, because that's not what we're actually talking about esports here, but we're talking about high-level gameplay that's going on. Very, very, very few people have really taken it to that sort of level. Maybe Hafu from Hearthstone or things like that can really be considered to be going out there. Alice Strasser and a few of these other people. But you're also looking at these games as more strategic games, not exactly mechanically proficient games that are coming out. So maybe innately, if the mainstream games are always mechanically proficient, then there's going to be a slightly less female participation or higher barrier for them to enter. But there's so many other games that would work.
Here is, are there any problems or restrictions in esports that limits participation of female gamers? I don't think there are any restrictions saying females, only 10 females can join or whatnot. I don't think there are things such as that, except that it's just natural that most of the participants are usually men or males. I think benda ni goes back to our culture juga kot, from how we live at home. Boys yang keluar rumah pergi main bola, perempuan duduk kat dapur cuci pinggan ke apa ke. I don't know, but that's just the culture, okay? Bukan I'm trying to point out about girls who stay in the kitchen ke apa, tau. It's just the culture. Dan perempuan nampak macam girls seems a bit more fragile, so parents tak bagi keluar rumah banyak sangat, tak bagi mingle around with boys kat luar sana, main game dekat mamak ke apa ke, which is why they have a lot lesser chance to join esports. So it might seem like there's restrictions or problems for female gamers to join esports, padahal tak ada pun.
I think I've seen like a couple of like professional esports players in CS:GO scene, because they kind of pointed out like a lot of the female gamers as well. They always have this kind of mindset, there are a lot of men in this kind of scene. How do we break this thing, and how do we enter? But to be honest, in my opinion, my personal opinion, there is no limitations, there's no boundaries, there's no restrictions. It's just whether you want to join or you want to participate, or you just totally ignore it. Because like, for example, like the StarCraft 2 winner, Scarlett, was it the female?
Yeah, Scarlett.
The Canadian girl, yeah, she won StarCraft 2, and it goes to show entirely up to her participation, her will of doing it. So there's no barrier there.
She did really well in the West. However, even the top male players from the West are nowhere close to the Korean C-level players.
Yeah, true.
Like it's such a huge difference, but it also proves that female gamers can come from anywhere and do really well. The barrier to entry has definitely been reduced because how many girls actually have high-powered desktops, for one. So with like the sort of emergence of mobile gaming and things like that has come true, yes, you're seeing a lot more of the community and a lot more esports players now be female. Like when you look at things like Mobile Legends, for instance. And you see a lot more caster participation, and you're actually playing, serious good, simply because they have access to it. Where else, desktops and computer gaming or console gaming used to be predominantly just male-centric. I think that's changing up now as well.
Might just reach that point. All right. Next question from the viewer, Lee Miao Lim, 97. As you can see, there are many promotions of female gaming teams everywhere. However, some of these are just gimmicks. Will this affect the society's perspective on future female gaming? Is this true? Is this true, guys?
I mean, if you want to see it that way, then
No, the fact that all of us reacted in a sort of laughy way means it's a gimmick.
yeah.
Like, yeah, see, I mean, I hate this question like so much because it really rips into the fundamental of marketing, right? And sex sells.
Yeah, that's why I kind of agree as well. Sex sells. Like when I was doing my short film, one of my producers, he was like, okay, I don't want to be this person because she doesn't have that body, she doesn't have that face, because as a producer, you want to see the short film thrive into its highest peak. So you need to have like something that can sell. So in a way that gimmicking female teams is kind of true, and there are much more like talented, underrated players out there. Like God knows who. Probably that guy is like probably 17, 16. I don't know, but he's really talented in the game, very passionate in the game, but yet he does not get the same opportunity as these females who are in this marketing gimmick.
I think also it's not necessarily like the females' fault about this because it's not like they themselves are like pushing themselves forward. I think it comes down to maybe it's this like sleazy factor. It's like, why do you need to sexualize the females in this, right? If they are good players, then just make them good players.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Why does it need to be like, oh, this is a all-star female edition. This is a special
And it just so
tournament
happens
for
they're
females.
all
Like,
cute.
Yeah.
With like, two inches of makeup and professional hair done and everything else.
Come on.
The thing is, right, there are so many tournaments, there are so many events where the female players or whoever gets invited in have special budget for makeup, for wardrobe, for transportation, for all these type of things,
Really?
so that they can look pretty. They even have budget for fans and air conditioning to keep them cool so they're not sweaty and grimy looking on the event floor.
Holy shit, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
Really?
Now, where would we ever see that for male players?
never. I mean, like male
I
players
just
are
need a
always
hair blower and a pomade
yeah. Simple.
and some perfume maybe.
I mean, so, like, why is there like when you sexualize them, when you treat them differently, male or female players, that's when there's issue. Which is why it is a gimmick at the end of it, right? It's all a marketing gimmick when it comes down to it. I mean, cosplayers for events and things like that aren't hired specifically because their cosplay is amazing that's there. It's also because they have huge amounts of fans, and guess what? Most of them tends to be girls that are super attractive and have lots of revealing pictures online. Look, it's your business. It works for you, fine, be it. But like, we also need to, come to the clear understanding that this is what it is. It's all a business ploy. Lizara, how do you feel about this?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's true what you said. Sex does sell. Basically, I guess companies would just want to use what they can to get people to join their event or watch their shows.
Or by their brands.
But it really is up to the viewers on what they want to think. The question was actually, hold on. Will this affect the society's perspective on future female gaming teams?
Belgium.
Yes, definitely. If like a lot of them are like pushing the, you know, the sexual parts. But I just want to let you people know that there are talented females out there, knowledgeable females who are truly into gaming.
Yeah.
True.
But it's not like we're denying it. It's we know. I have few friends as well who are really interested into esports and everything. It's just that so long as the industry does it and people accept it, then it's still gonna stick. It's still gonna be there. It's still gonna be. There's nothing's gonna change. If so long as the brands wants only to sell women to be their ambassador, or the esport team to be their ambassador for the team, for their brand, then it's still gonna maintain just like that, unless they themselves say no, or I don't know, they suddenly become a same.
Actually, in any show anywhere at all, they're gonna use women in this certain way. So I think it's just gonna stay there.
See, the thing is, right, if it's about entertainment purposes, right, fine, so be it, right? You want people to watch the show, but it should not affect the esports portion of it, right? So this is where I sort of come down on it, because if you look at Tokyo Game Show, right, super huge exhibition every year that's there, hundreds of millions of dollars are made, shown, new technology, new games, etc., that's there. And pretty much half the floor, half the exhibitors that's there use porn stars. This is not an industry secret. This is not anything that's shamed there. Maybe you guys don't know, but yeah, you literally see porn stars, and so porn stars would send in their resumes of shots and everything else in so that exhibitors can choose them, right? The thing is, this has nothing to do with esports anymore. And so yes, sex sells. You want people to come to your booths. You have super large bags, whatever along the way there. But when you start having esports tournaments for only girls, or having a special show match with this girl team that has come up, or because they've dolled up themselves or whatever, that's where I completely disagree. Because you're distracting away from it. You don't see, and like the NFL all of a sudden have a show match with a female team that's going on. Sure, you have a halftime show or whatever that's going on. You have cheerleaders, you have whatever else it is, but it's clearly very separate from esports. It's clearly very separate from the sports. This is clearly entertainment. And I think that needs to be very made clear within the industry when it comes to esports specifically. This is the entertainment portion, between the matches or whatever else it is, and now the regular show resumes. And I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think the girls actually take the game seriously during such events?
There are some. There are a lot of girls
Right?
yang
There's
actually
some still.
ada
Really?
banyak.
Very, very hard to tell what's actually in their head and mind as they do it, but definitely some people really try hard, and you can see that happen. And some people are clearly, oh, they needed a fifth member. Yeah.
Okay, all the girls out there, if you're really into gaming and maybe esports, go and join a team. Go join like a guy team or a serious all-female team. We need more female representatives.